Why is it that you're not getting married?
बेपरवाही हाँ बेपरवाही हाँ बेपरवाही हाँ बेपरवाही हाँ हाँ.
Money or respect? You chose respect.
Your legacy comes from that just as much as it comes from your actual work. People having a good experience working with you.
Punjabi music is literally exploding.
I think it's amazing. I think it's a great moment that we're having right now, and it's opening a lot of doors for other artists.
Technique or emotions?
Emotions is more important.
How do you think AI is going to be contributing or impacting the music industry?
A lot of people are like really scared.
A lot of the music that is being created right now is taking this entire Instagram reels and reels factor into account.
We're trying to make things that are timeless. We're trying to make things that are fresh, and we're not trying to like drive the content by the social media trends. It does get a little stressful for sure.
You want to collaborate with Bruno Mars.
I'm happy that we have role models like that. Hey guys, this is Jonita. You're watching Connect Cine with Faridoon, so stay connected.
Jonita, welcome on Connect Cine. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm fantastic as well. Question for you. Why is it that you're not getting married?
मिले ना मिले थे प्यार लबे ना लबे कोई यार बच के रहंदियां हुण तां बेपरवाही हाँ बेपरवाही हाँ बेपरवाही हाँ बेपरवाही हाँ हाँ बेपरवाही यारा यारा बेपरवाही बेपरवाही हाँ हाँ. I know you just set me up to sing it. That's why I just
Fantastic.
adapted the song to fit that context. But yeah.
No, I think it's amazing. All right. So I had one question for you. So you're very comfortable speaking in English, but when we
Yeah.
when we hear your Punjabi, when we hear your Hindi, when we hear your Tamil, your accents are absolutely spot on. How do you manage to do that?
Um, a lot of it is faking it, to be honest, because I'm just I guess I have a good ear, so I just mimic sounds well. Obviously Hindi and Punjabi I've grown up around in my household only, but with Tamil and like the other South Indian languages, I am really just faking it, and I guess I'm doing a good job. So, it's just fun. I find it fun and challenging to do it, so I do it.
Okay, I genuinely feel that you're making it sound rather easy for the matter. But what happens is people have cultural connotations to language and the way it is spoken. Say especially in Tamil, for example, even Punjabi, for example. Punjabi is something which comes naturally to you, but Tamil is something that is it's definitely an alien language for you. So
Yeah.
if any singer or any artist goes wrong, they'll pick it up instantly. And for biggest of I think composers like say A.R. Rahman to believe in you, you must be doing something much more than just faking it, getting that connotation and that nuance right and the pronunciations.
Yeah, but you have to realize, like, because like you said, it's alien to me, right? I am at the mercy of the people around me. So if I'm with people who are going to be a little more lax about it and allow, you know, poor pronunciation to get past the finish line when it comes to, the final song coming out, then I'm kind of screwed as well. Like I'm only as careful as the people who are around me. You know what I mean? So I do my best to try to encourage them to be ruthless with me. And I try to, from my side, I communicate that I want to sound as authentic as possible. I want it to be that such that when people hear the song, they don't think, oh, the girl who sang this doesn't speak this language. I don't want anybody to have the opportunity to say, why didn't they get a native speaking singer? Why did they get her? So that's like my
Right.
worst nightmare. And once I tell the team that that's the kind of excellence level we're striving for, then at that point I'm just praying that they're on board and it's in their best interest also, right? To make sure that I get it right, because they'll also get the flack. It's not just me. Especially like an A.R. Rahman, like he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? So he won't let something pass unless it's proper. So yeah, it's a team effort is what I'm getting at. Yeah.
No, definitely. Rahman sir has a lot of regard for you. Um, okay, I was watching one of your interviews, and you were asked that money or respect. You chose respect. You just might mention the word excellence, which is always a fantastic word to hear. Does that drive you? Respect and excellence drives you for pursuing whatever you pursue?
Yes. In short, yes. I remember since the first day I entered the industry, I've always only like strived for respect. I want it so that if my name ever comes up in a conversation, obviously this is not in my control, which is also something I need to work on. But um, as much as possible, whatever I can do to impact people having good things to say rather than bad things to say, because I just feel like that your legacy comes from that just as much as it comes from your actual work. People having a good experience working with you, and you also leaving a little bit of your personality wherever you go. Working hard, being professional. Um, yeah, just doing my best. That's it.
That's amazing. Okay, if you talk about Beparvai, it's releasing on June 13th. Tell us something more about the song, apart from the fact that you don't want to get married.
That's not even part of it. That was just for the
Okay,
real. But
okay.
as in, it's true. It is part of it
Mm.
because basically the song I feel for me is about being a little less tied up. Sorry, a little less worried about what everyone's saying about you, and it's not really in your control. Ultimately, you have to do whatever feels right to you. You have to be yourself. You have to do whatever makes you happy. And that's not going to be something that makes everyone else happy. Like more often than not, you will find yourself in a situation where somebody, at least one person, is not happy with one of your choices, or somebody's disappointed, or somebody's judging you, or whatever it is. And I find myself like getting too caught up about that. And so this song is basically me manifesting living in a more um, carefree style. So it's not always about servicing other people, it's about servicing yourself. And I think that's the underlying messaging in the song.
Great. What are your views on the way the Punjabi music is literally exploding with all Diljit Dosanjh and Karan Aujla and Shubh? Sidhu Moosewala was there. He's unfortunately not anymore. But the way that this music is exploding is simply sensational.
I think it's amazing. I think it's a great moment that we're having right now, and it's opening a lot of doors for other artists to get their music out there, and for people to start taking Indian music even more seriously than they did before, and to recognize the talent that exists, because there's so much talent coming out of South Asian artists.
Right. Okay. And what is the importance of lyrics? For example, when it comes to Beparvai, for example, how do you approach the lyrics, and um, how important is it for you to just get the meaning, the emotion right for you?
I think it's very important actually. So personally, there's two ways to listen to a song. Like one way is to focus on the lyric, and another is to focus on more like melodic elements, production, music. So naturally, like I've asked friends in life, like, what do you hear first? Like, what do you notice first about a song? So when people ask me the same question, I think naturally I notice the composition and the melody and the production first. But it's you can't separate it ever from the lyric, I feel, in these kinds of songs because the messaging is equally, if not more important. And that's something I've realized actually with time. Um, the thing that makes you really, really connect with a song is, I think, the messaging. And so it is very important to be able to express it. And that's why I work with other um, collaborators and songwriters who have like a better command over the language than me to help me kind of get my own thoughts out, but in a way that makes sense, in a way that feels relatable, in a way that people are going to also um, vibe with. Like it has to feel natural um, lyrically also. So it's definitely something that we put a lot of emphasis on.
Okay, now, Jonathan, when it comes to Mumbai, for example, when it comes to say the Indian music industry, and if you talk about Bollywood, for example, you've had some really big hits. You have some legends as yardsticks, the likes of Lata Mangeshkar, Asha Bhosle, Mohammad, Rafi, Kishore, Kumar. I'm just taking four names. I genuinely feel that these four singers, and then Mukesh Saab as well. Maybe these five singers, they they can be labeled as some of the best, finest artists in the world ever, with the sort of legacy that they have created for themselves. Uh, what does it how does it inspire you that you're part of an industry which has had these legends, and the songs, they're still so fresh, all of them?
I do take a lot of inspiration from the greats. I think that's how I learned how to sing. I am not officially a trained musician. I literally, then all the names you mentioned, I listened to them over and over, naturally within my household, but then also I spent a lot of time like listening to songs like Lag Ja Gale and like Aji Rutkar, and like I would just break it down and be like, how are they singing like this? And I I feel like I owe a lot of my technique even to just listening to these guys and what they've given us in terms of like legendary music. You know what I mean? And so I definitely take a lot of inspiration from them, and I think that they are a good reminder that you should strive again for excellence because it does prevail in the end, and that's what creates the legacy is actually being good at your craft.
Right. Janita, what do you think is more important, technique or emotions?
Um, I think they're both important, but I think emotions is more important. I think that
Right.
drives or hits home more. And nowadays, people are using technology, right, to compensate for the technique part. But you can't really use technology to compensate for emotion, at least not yet.
Okay, so how much do you take help of the technology when it comes to your singing, both live performances as well as on stage, like recording, studio recording?
I have a lot of support from t I shamelessly will tell you that I think that it's a tool that I think is helpful to use. Um, I'm still a little behind when it comes to all the AI stuff, to be honest. I know that there's so much that I could be doing with it that I haven't started doing, but I'm interested to seeing how I can make advancements in technology. Like I'm always interested to see how we can make that work for us and help us give our music, like a more fresh sound. So I think it's cool.
How do you think AI is going to be contributing or impacting the music industry, the singers in the near future?
A lot of people are like really scared. People ask me this all the time, like, are you scared that this is gonna take your job away? Um, I feel like in my lifetime, I don't think it will, but maybe after that, everyone's screwed. I don't know. Um, I think the way it's working right now is like it's still dependent on a human input enough that I'm not too worried. That's why I'm trying to see it as a positive thing, and I'm gonna try to use it to my advantage instead of run away from it because I don't think that makes much sense. So how is it gonna change things? I think I'm hoping it's gonna make things easier. It's already being used as a tool to help, be more efficient, at least when it comes to like rollouts and like content creation and like um, ideas for marketing and stuff. Like a lot of people are resorting to AI for stuff like that, and I think smart.
Yeah, right. How incorporated your education in terms of marketing yourself, and how important is it for any artist to market himself or herself properly?
Okay, so I'm trying my best to market myself because it's very important. Otherwise, you get lost. There's just the fact of the matter is that it's information overload. Like when you open one of the social media platforms, like there's just so many things attacking you. It feels like all the time. So to cut through the noise, you do need to be marketed. You do need to market yourself and your content and your music and whatever it is. Um, I feel like my education was really important, but I also don't know how much of it I'm implementing right now because the times change. And at the time that I studied, I don't think social media was that important. And like it's very important now, for instance. So I don't know if I'm using what I like my degrees that much, but I do think the people skills and stuff like and everything that I learned by getting my degrees, all of that is definitely coming in handy. And obviously I studied business, so I do have like a way of thinking that had influenced by the way I studied, yeah, and what I studied.
So, when it comes to, say, you mentioned about social media, uh, a lot of the music that is being created right now is taking this entire Instagram Reels and Reels factor into account. This entire 3 second rule that Instagram has, that you have to hook the attention in the first 3 seconds itself. How have you utilized it? Is it something that you have used constructively? Do you think that maybe at times it's something that maybe right slightly intrusive when it comes to creating a song?
I think it can get in the way if you're gonna think about that ahead of when you need to think of that. I feel when you're creating a song is not the time to think of that. I think when you're marketing a song, it's the time to think of that. But what happens is that when people come in and tell you, "Oh, you need to make a song that is gonna trend or like make sense for this specific trend that's happening on Instagram right now." Like that's not the way I choose to go about it because I feel like we're trying to make things that are timeless. We're trying to make things that are fresh, and we're not trying to like drive the content by the social media trends and like this whole real thing and everything. But I think that's a separate task is once you make a song that you believe in and that feels authentic to you, now you can start thinking of creative ways to use the trends that exist and use the tools like Reels and TikTok and whatever else to now propel your message again. It does get a little stressful for sure because that's like a metric that people use now, like, oh, how many people have made Reels to your song or whatever, right? And again, like I'd hate when that interferes with the creation process, but I do think it is an important facet of releasing music, and it's an important part that you need to keep in mind again after the fact, after you've made
Right.
the thing that. But it's all I've been using social media since the beginning. The way I got discovered was on YouTube. I wouldn't have my career if it wasn't for social media. So I'm grateful for it, and I think it's a great tool.
Okay, for example, a song like Chumka, for example, the hook, and it's perfectly. It seems like to be perfectly made for a reel, for example, because you start with that catchy element that people will completely get onto. Do you? And I personally feel it's also entertaining. If you look at certain things, it can be rather entertaining if and the way the people have lesser attention spans right now. So if you have a hook, it also works nicely.
Yeah, it does. It does. Like, but for instance, for my new song Beparvai, it doesn't have a traditional hook that has a lot of like repeating elements. Like the hook, it's one word that repeats a lot, which is great. But the melody, it's like Beparvai, huh, Beparvai, huh, Beparvai, huh, Beparvai, huh, Beparvai. Like you know what I mean? It's it just sounded good, and that's why we locked it. But then after the fact, now we decided when we shot the music video that we would have um a hook step. We would have something that could be latched onto that would help people remember the song. And again, like that all happened after we made the song and loved it as is, right? So now you think like, how do we use the song to create something that's hooky? And like you said, it is important because it's entertainment and it's the short attention span thing. Like that's how you factor that all of that in.
Right. Okay. If we talk about structuring of a song, say for an independent song, I personally loved the way Billie Eilish's Blue was structured. It starts off in a certain manner. Then in the once it approaches the middle, the entire trajectory of the composition changes. Even the music arrangements and the production completely changes. And by the time it ends, it's something else. So and it has a very very catchy sort of hook line in terms of the musical hook line as well, which is like beautiful. But at the same time, it's as artistic as it gets. It's very commercial. At the same time, it's very artistic, and it's something which is unpredictable. As an artist, when you are creating your own songs, how important is structuring for you? And for the fact that since you said that excellence part of it, how important is it for you to be unpredictable?
Personally, I kind of put being unpredictable and striving for excellence in the same kind of category as sounding fresh. Like I don't want to make music that I feel people are like, okay, I've heard this exact thing before, or
Right.
oh, she's done this before, or they're copying a popular song. Then they, what like that is something I definitely it's important to me to not do. It's more important to me to have something that feels new in everything I do. And there's so many ways to do that. And personally, me being somebody born in India, brought up in Canada, now living in India again, and having such a diverse experience growing up, and in terms of my musical influences being so diverse as well, I find it relatively to authentically make music that feels like a mix of things and doesn't feel repetitive. Um, and definitely because it comes naturally to me, I also try to use that as a USP. So I do intentionally now feel like what's the Jonita factor here? What's the thing that people will hear and be like, okay, she was striving for excellence. She wasn't just trying to make a like a catchy, hooky, like candy pop song or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and because of people I've worked with over the years, and because of the people pleaser in me, it's a little hypocritical, but the person in me who wants the respect. You know what I mean? Um, I do I do wanna work with people who are like minded and people who are just genuinely really good at the craft. I want it so that if Rahman sir hears any of my songs, he's also proud of it. It shouldn't sound like something that was not well thought out.
Absolutely. Okay. Uh, Juno and Lollapalooza. I hope that I've pronounced that right. Is it Lollapalooza?
Lollapalooza, yeah, people say it differently.
Okay. How has it how has it added to your ambition quotient in terms of inspiration?
The thing I like, again, one thing I wanted to add to my last answer, which is relevant here, is we're always trying to raise the bar because
Mm,
we wanna set an example, right, for the people who are coming next and everything, and we wanna make it known that as South Asian artists also, we have the caliber to do things that will be internationally appreciated. Um, so Lollapalooza was one such opportunity that I saw to kind of take my live act and take it to the next level and present ourselves in a way that didn't feel only good for an Indian act. Like it should feel good or great or amazing, whatever, across the board. And again, that striving for excellence thing. I've been performing for so many years. Like it's been over 20 years that I've been performing professionally. And my live act I've really started to work on in the last few years. Um, once I started to realize all the different elements that we can use and like again technology like we were talking about earlier, getting the right kind of visuals, lighting, time code, having more on stage fixtures or dancers or whatever it is to make the act feel like an experience and not just like a show. And so Lollapalooza was because it was such a big platform. I was performing ahead of Shawn Mendes. It was a really great slot. It was like the sunset slot on the headlining stage. I think it might have been the only Indian act who's had that slot. So I thought it was like a really big deal to me. We kind of went over and above and decided to create or curate a whole new act and experience just for that set. And it was a lot of stress and a lot of last minute getting scrambling and trying to get all the right people together. But luckily, I found my people through that experience and I learned so much. And we put on, I think, one of my best acts that I've ever put on before. So I was very proud of that.
Okay, you want to collaborate with Bruno Mars um, when it comes to someone like Dua Lipa, and the sort of background that she has had, personal background. She's coming from a very very humble background. Her parents were very very regular professionals, and she has risen to be right on the top. How inspiring is it to just see these people and the fact that they've had these wonderful journeys?
I think it's super inspiring. I think it's very commendable and I see the hard work, you know what I mean? Like, as an artist myself, I know it takes a lot more than meets the eye. So if we from what we can see, we can already tell, like, just imagine how much more work has gone into it. So I think it's amazing, and, I'm happy that we have role models like that.
Great. Okay. All right. And when it comes to stage performance, I'm having a short rapid fire as well. When it comes to stage performance, how does how do the fact that you can dance on Jhumka as well and put up that act as well, how entertaining is it for you personally as a live performer?
So I actually started dancing before I started singing. So I have always had like performance and dance in my blood from when I was young. It's something I always kind of enjoyed, even in the school events, cultural events. Like I would be like the choreographer sometimes, bringing like the Bollywood touch to the act or whatever it is. So I I really really enjoy dancing, and so now that I'm incorporating it into my music. I'm having the best time. Like somebody was asking me recently, what's your favorite part about being an artist right now? Like, you know how there's like so many different things. There's like touring, there's working in the studio, there's writing, there's delivering, there's interviews, there's PR, there's music videos, whatever. So my answer was that right now I'm just really enjoying the music video part of it, is like performing the song for in a controlled setting, not just on stage, but in a setting where you can like try different things and like fail and then do another take, and then I love it. It's so satisfying to me, and I think people, I mean, it works in my favor because people see the joy of when I bring it to the stage also. And yeah, I just feel like if I enjoy it anyways, then why not go ham and go hard and really use it to my advantage?